Hey YouTube, this is Draco87SJB
and JMB823.
Alright, today we have the Dye NT10, which we'll be doing a review on. Things we will talk about are its packaging, what comes with the gun, stock features, disassembly and maintenance, and the upgrades you can get for the gun. Alright, first we'll start with the packaging. The packaging is your standard Dye packaging. It has a heavy-duty zipper and it's a soft case, which keeps the gun well protected. Okay, now we'll move on to what comes with it. Right, of course, you have your NT, and it comes with a nice color manual, which is really easy to sort through. Next, we have a spare parts kit, dye tool, and the dye slick glue. And also, of course, it comes with a barrel. Alright, that brings us on to its stock features. First, we'll talk about its barrel. Alright, the barrel is the Dye Ultralight, bored out to 688. And in my personal opinion, it's probably one of the best barrels on the market at the moment. Okay, next we have brake beam eyes, which are located inside the marker's body. Then we have the eye pipe, which allows for a smooth external body and no eye covers, and it doubles as the marker's detents. Okay, when it comes to the eye pipe, I think it was a good decision. It makes the gun look much more sleek. But the only downside, in my opinion, is that they eventually do wear, and they cost about $25 to replace, which I think is a little overpriced for something so simple.
When you can buy D10s for other guns in packages of 10 for anywhere from $9 to $12, that's a major difference in price.
Okay. And next we have the on-off ASA and bleed button. In my opinion, and also JMB's opinion, we think that it should just have a one-purge system. I mean, it's such an expensive gun, I'm sure they could have figured out a way to just have it bleed when you flip the ASA.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the ASA design is a very good design. Comes out the front, you have your little knob right here, but doesn't make much sense to have you turn off your ASA and also have to remember to purge your button. It's not that big of a deal, but for the amount of money you put down on a marker like this, you should really be one thing, purge your system.
And next we have its toolless grips, which allows for easy access to the board and for replacing a battery. Okay, now so we have the grips open, we'll talk about the board. Alright, the board, you can adjust its trigger sensitivity, dwell, fire rate, and firing mode, which are semi, millennium, PSP, and full auto. Now, for adjusting everything on the board, unfortunately, it's only an LED light board, which I think for a gun of this caliber, it should have been given an OLED board stock.
And for most of the programming, you actually do have to open your grips for changing your dwell, changing your firing modes, changing your balls per second. It all has to be done internally instead of just by using your buttons alone and trigger alone.
Okay, that brings us on to the gun's trigger. It has 4 points of adjustability and uses a micro switch.
Located right here.
We honestly prefer micro switches over optical because they're, in our opinion, more reliable.
And it doesn't cause all those problems where you have to change your settings up and down so it has sensitivity towards, oh, it broke the sensor, it didn't break the sensor. With a micro switch, it's on or off.
Okay, which brings us on to the feed neck. Okay, the feed neck, it's nice. It doesn't have a sprocket wheel or need an Allen wrench for adjustability. You can just swivel it around by itself. The one downside to it is the little pin located
Right there.
right there. I've had a few times where it's come out and I thought I lost it, and I'm not even sure if you can buy a replacement for that. Okay. Which now brings us to ergonomics.
Overall, the ergonomics of this marker are absolutely amazing. Just the way they designed their grip and their reg with the rubber grip already attached to it, it feels great in your hands. You can just put your hand in it, wrap around, and you can walk your trigger no problem. And the way I hold it, you get a good grip between your reg and the upper part of your marker and barrel. Draco, anything to add?
No, that pretty much covers what I think about it. Okay, and a little side note is the marker's efficiency without any sort of tuning of any sort. You're going to get about probably 9.5 pods. Okay, and that brings us to its disassembly and maintenance. Okay, first we're going to talk about the Hyper 3 regulator. Alright, to disassemble the entire regulator system, you first have to remove the macro line. And you're going to need either an adjustable wrench, or you can use the wrench already on the die tool. And you're going to need to unscrew that and remove that
90-degree fitting right there.
before you can take off the rubber grip. And then after that, you're going to need 2 different Allen keys to take apart the reg and relube, clean and relube the system.
Mm-hmm. Once you remove this rubber grip right here, you just unscrew it, and then you need 1 Allen key here, the larger one, and 1 Allen key on the top section, smaller one, and you do counter turn, and that detaches the reg from top and bottom piece.
Okay, next we're going to go to the bolt assembly. For the bolt assembly, I think they should have made it a toolless removal, but I see why they couldn't do that, because they needed the bleed button. Let's see, let's take it apart.
Now the area where you take it apart is actually where the bleed button is. You use a 1/4 inch Allen key, and you unscrew it a decent amount, and then you just push it out once you unscrew it enough. Draco?
Alright, let's talk about the bolt assembly a little bit. Alright, it has, I believe, 5 different parts, which makes it a little complex for anybody that's new to the sport. I'm not going to fully disassemble it because I don't want to take out the die tool right now. But you have the bolt, which is a great bolt. Got a rubber stopper there for when you have really brittle paint. It's good for not breaking it. Of course, you have its can, which I've had problems where it's gotten stuck on the threading here, which is one of those little problems this gun has. As far as getting to the spool of the marker, it's located inside the power core here, which I've had problems with it, and I think others have, with it, these 2 pieces, the spacer rod getting stuck, and they've had to either use a vice grip to get it unstuck or ship it back to die. I had to actually personally do that myself, which is kind of a pain. Alright. And that brings us lastly to the upgrades that you can get for this marker.
Now, because it's such a high-end marker, there aren't that many upgrades that you really need to purchase for this. I personally don't think you need to purchase anything for a marker that's this expensive. But there are upgrades, and you can get a OLED board, which we personally believe that this marker should come with an OLED board. It literally just you get a screen right here where this dye logo is. Next up, you can get laser eyes, and they're basically you're running from your board section right here, running through the body, and then just they pop right in here. And next up is
you can get the carbon fiber boomstick,
which really just replaces the back of your dye ultralight barrel
and reduces a little bit of the weight.
As well as you can get the aluminum versions of the back in two different sizes. One is a 684 and the other is
692.
Okay, so we're going to go outside for a little bit and we're going to shoot this marker for you just to see how it sounds and just to see how smooth the marker fires. We'll be back in a little bit with a conclusion.
Hey YouTube, we're outside now and we're going to do kick test first. As you can see, there isn't much kick with a spool design from Dye. It's a very good marker. Alright, we're going to go and fire it now. We're shooting PSB ramping with a Ninja 68 4500 and a Dye rotor. Safety first.
Okay, we're back inside now with the Dye NT. As you saw, it's a very smooth shooting marker, comparable to any high-end spool design,
as well as being our top 3 of most ergonomically comfortable guns.
I hope our review today has helped you out, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and have a good one.
Later.